Listen, Tom Hanks is great in this movie. He is a great voice actor, a great actor and all, but he does not look like Mr. Rogers. I'm sorry. He just doesn't. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. From the director of Won't You Be My Neighbor, which was a documentary that came out last year. This female director directed that documentary. It was a fantastic documentary I did not review last year that I did see later on in the year. And then she did A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood starring Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers. And basically it's about this journalist who is assignment put on to Mr. Rogers because the assignment is who is my hero of America. And so he's a journalist and is interviewing Mr. Rogers. But Mr. Rogers pretty much turns into an interview on him, on his life and his issues, because this man is not happy, and now we have our movie. I went to this movie very excited. This movie was like one of my most anticipated of the month. I love Tom Hanks. I wanted to see him as Mr. Rogers. You know, it does not look like him. I remember when they announced this movie, I was like, yes, Tom Hanks, Mr. Rogers, thank you. And then I walked in this movie pretty excited, whatever, and I walked out saying, so, that was a disappointment. Alright, so I'm going to feel like a negative Nancy. Oh, okay, here we go. The movie's got 98% Rotten Tomatoes. Reviews are reviews, opinions are opinions. That's what life is. I will say this movie is a good movie. It just wasn't a great movie. I'll say this. First things first, Tom Hanks is so huggable. I mean, he is so lovable and huggable in this movie. I loved him. He was amazing in this role. He was so good. He was so... You wanted to give him a hug. Like, he was so good in this movie as Mr. Rogers. I do think he is a supporting actor, though. If the Oscars do nominate him, I mean, I would say a supporting actor. I would. I truly would say Best Supporting Actor nomination. But, I mean, you know, Anthony Hopkins did win Best Actor for being in the movie for 17 minutes, so... I don't know, but anyways, for me personally, I think he is a supporting actor. I think he should definitely be nominated. He was so good in this movie. But besides him, the movie wasn't good. It was just, to me, it was, I mean, I know a lot of people saying, well, what'd you expect? It's a very slow-paced movie, very dramatic, very over-dramatic. The main character, the journalist that we have to follow, he is... I feel like Edward Norton should have been in this role. I feel like Edward Norton's been a perfect guy for this role. But the guy who played the main journalist, I mean, he was good, but I feel like someone as great as an actor should have been with Tom Hanks. Because Tom Hanks was so good, and you had this guy who was just meh. And that sucks, because, I mean, he didn't do a bad job. I just feel like someone better could have easily been cast in this role. Like, again, like Edward Norton, I could have seen Edward Norton in this role perfectly. And I just really didn't care about his family issues. I didn't care about his wife. The movie didn't give me time to really develop into his, like, negatives and stuff like that. But I will say this, there's certain scenes in this movie that are edited terribly. There is terrible editing. And there's one just sequence in this movie that feels so... a horror movie. It felt so tonally just like, what are we doing here? So I feel like the tone, the editing, and our main actor as the journalist, it just didn't work out. I just didn't care about him. I didn't care about his issues. But overall, Tom Hanks is the reason to see the movie. He's fantastic as Mr. Rogers. But besides him, the movie itself crumbled around him. I'm going to give A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood a C. I do believe Tom Hanks will be nominated for supporting actor. If he gets nominated for best actor, I truly don't know how it is that best actor. I would say supporting, but he's fantastic. He is the reason to see this movie. Anyway, guys enjoy this review, and I'll see you guys next time.